CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
RCMP in Nanaimo have a 38-year-old man in custody. He is suspected in a sexual assault on the campus of Vancouver Island University. A man attacked the 23-year-old VIU student as she was walking along a trail on her way to class, and officers believe the suspect may be connected to a rash of gropings in and around the Nanaimo area. The alleged assault occurred at about 11 o'clock Thursday morning. Police said the young woman was walking past the running track and she noticed a man standing by a bicycle. He struck up a conversation with her and then allegedly grabbed her buttocks and breasts. The victim ran off and immediately reported the incident to campus security.
Security provided an excellent description. Based on that, we were able to locate the male within the hour and he was taken into custody. 38-year-old Daniel Sasseville. He's well known to us, is in police custody. He's been charged today with 1 count of sexual assault. We're certainly looking at Mr. Sasseville as a prime suspect in many of the incidents surrounding VIU, surrounding area, and in the Westwood Lake area.
Sasseville has been remanded in custody until he appears in court this coming Monday. Well, heavy rain earlier today has hampered the search for Robert Derrick. He's the 74-year-old man, also known as Bonsai Bob, who is charged with 2 counts of sexual assault and was reported missing in the Souk Potholes area on Tuesday. Search and rescue crews were hoping to get divers into the pools today, but because of high water levels, that plan was scratched early on. Crews have been scouring a 4-kilometer radius around Derrick's cabin since Tuesday, but there's been no sign of him. Search crews say they are not ready to give up yet. He was due to appear in court yesterday. The weather, if it improves, may allow searchers to make another attempt.
Tomorrow we're going to have some teams in the water and along the shore, and the RCMP dive team is going to be checking out some of the pools along the Souk River. We're really approaching that stage where we think that we have done everything that we possibly could be doing. Unfortunately, his health hasn't been great, his age is a factor, and certainly the weather has been a factor.
The 74-year-old Derrick failed to appear in court yesterday to enter a plea on 2 sex-related charges involving children. A 3-week murder trial that was scheduled to start on Monday in Nanaimo has been dropped after one of 2 men accused in the crime made a surprise guilty plea this morning. Christopher James Robinson and Marcus Brandon Perry were charged with second-degree murder a few days after emergency crews found 22-year-old Brittany Elsie Baird dead in Nob Hill in downtown Nanaimo in May 2011. Robinson made the surprise plea. Charges were dropped against Perry. A second-degree murder conviction in the case comes with a mandatory life sentence and a minimum parole eligibility for 10 years. Gusting winds this afternoon have blown down trees and have knocked out power across southern Vancouver Island and the Gulf Islands. And the wind caused an accident, or may have done so, that closed the Johnson Street Bridge this afternoon. A construction crane that had been repairing the fender system that was damaged by a barge late last year struck the bridge as it was in the upright position. The bridge was not seriously damaged, but the incident shut down all pedestrian, vehicle, and cycling traffic over the span for about a half an hour. It was opened again by about 3:15 or so. The City of Victoria thinks the wind whipping across the harbour this afternoon may be to blame.
And just before 3 o'clock, a crane that had been working on the bridge was being barged underneath, and I understand the top of the crane caught wind and struck the bridge in an upright position. The bridge has been assessed to ensure it's safe for the traveling public and that it can open and close, and that has been confirmed. And upon that inspection being completed, it was opened immediately.
A structural engineer will be brought in to conduct a further review of the bridge next week. And the wind caused damage elsewhere. It did this, blowing a tree down onto Oscar Street in Victoria's Fairfield neighborhood this afternoon. CTV News viewer Michael Motza sent in these pictures. At one point this afternoon, there were nearly 4,500 BC Hydro customers on the South Island and on the Southern Gulf Islands who were without power. Crews have worked to restore many of them, though there are about 2,500 still affected by the outage. That tree was cleared up in short order as well. The rain earlier today was a factor in a number of crashes on Vancouver Island. A nasty accident on the Nanaimo Parkway that shut down traffic in both directions this morning. Police say a car crossed the median and hit 2 vehicles at highway speed head-on. The force of the impact left a huge debris field and 3 crumpled vehicles. It happened about 7:30 this morning during the morning commute. RCMP say the driver of the pickup truck lost control, crossed into the southbound lane, then rolled and collided with the 2 cars. Each of the 3 vehicles was carrying only 1 occupant. 2 of the drivers had to be cut out of their vehicles.
There's several factors could be involved, including the weather conditions, the driving conditions, the speed of traffic. If it's raining heavily, if the weather is bad, you must slow down. You have to stay slow. You have to put distance between you and other vehicles and be very aware of where you are on the road. It's very easy to lose control in the wet. It's very easy to lose control in the frost. It's very easy to cross those medians and enter the wrong lane of traffic.
All 3 drivers were taken to hospital in Nanaimo, 2 of them in serious condition. The highway was closed until about 1 o'clock this afternoon as crash scene analysts investigated. Heavy rain was a factor in an early morning crash involving a car and a scooter in Saanich today. You might have driven past this on your way to work at the intersection of Quadra Street and the Pat Bay Highway on-ramp. Police say the driver of the car turned left into oncoming traffic directly into the path of the scooter.
Drivers need to be careful when we're dealing with roadway conditions like this. In addition, with rain that's slightly on the heavier side, it can also affect the visibility. So let's make sure we're paying attention to the road as well.
Fortunately, the driver of the car was traveling very slowly, only about 10 kilometers an hour as he turned. The scooterist suffered minor leg injuries only. Police have investigated. They say no charges will be laid against the driver of the car. And as the traffic cops were dealing with that scooter crash, they got a call to this at Mackenzie and Quadra. Reports of an SUV crashing into the TELUS building on the corner. Witnesses saw the westbound Ford Explorer cross the eastbound lanes of Mackenzie, jump the curb, drive over the grass, and then hit fencing along the building compound. The 32-year-old driver was arrested at the scene on suspicion of operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of drugs. A visually impaired athlete has won a human rights complaint against the race director of the TC 10K and the Victoria International Running Society. Graham McCreath is legally blind and had requested an early start in the 2011 TC 10K, but he was denied. He filed a discrimination complaint with the BC Human Rights Council. The 66-year-old McCreath is a race veteran, running the TC 10K 6 times between 2003 and 2010, always finishing in under an hour. McCreath says his pace positions him roughly in the middle of the thousands of runners, and the congestion, he says, coming off the starting line makes the start of the race difficult, if not dangerous, for him and his guide. Now the runner has won his decision against the Victoria International Running Society and the race director, Jackie Sanderson.
I think finally the human rights people really quite understood my situation, and I'm very pleased with it. The human rights have awarded me $2,500 and loss of wages. It has been recommended by the human rights judge that the organizers of the TC 10K should take anti-discrimination training.
This year's TC 10K will be run on April 28th. McCreath says he'll be there and he'll be running. Well, if you're a blushing bride-to-be, you won't want to miss this. It might be a chance to take care of the something new part. Your chance to get a deal on a designer wedding dress. More than 50 gowns are up for auction at the 2nd annual Bid for Bliss silent auction. This is a fundraiser for Victoria Hospice, and it gives brides-to-be a chance to get the wedding dress of their dreams while supporting hospice programs and services. These dresses have all been donated by bridal boutiques in the Victoria area, and they're on display right now at the Victoria Hospice Thrift Boutique.
We have a variety of dresses. We've got formal, we've got long trains, we've got mid-length. You name the wedding dress, we have them all shapes and sizes. We've also got Oscar wear, and we've got bridesmaid dresses. So there's really a lot for everyone in the wedding party. And our opening bids are starting at just $40 for some of the dresses. So it's a wonderful, wonderful deal.
If you see something you like here, you don't have too much time to say yes to the dress. The bidding closes tomorrow morning at 11, so check it out. You'll get full details online at victoriahospice.org. A car dealership in Nanaimo is celebrating a win for the animals tonight, and the BC SPCA couldn't be happier. Steve Marshall Ford Lincoln made a pledge to put $250 from every vehicle sold in the month of January towards the BC SPCA. The dealership hoped to raise $10,000 to do its part to help prevent cruelty to animals. Well, they were thrilled to present a check today for much more than that. They ended up raising $14,000.
It's not often that I'm speechless, but today I almost am. I can't tell you what this means to us. When we heard, there were tears, there was laughter, there was shouting. When we closed down last year for 6 weeks because of the ringworm outbreak, it cost us about $20,000. We've been struggling to get out of that deficit ever since.
Davis says the donation, coupled with the community's generosity, puts the SPCA in Nanaimo back in the black. That means more help for animals in the Mid-Island region.